I see a potential for move to the upside of at least 234 pips with a potential 45, let's call it 45 pip stop loss. That's a little over 5 to 1, I believe. What's up? What's up? I hope y'all are doing well. I want to recap USD JPY. I also want to recap Euro Odd. Last week I did a video on both and I gave my thoughts around what I thought we could see. So my thought was that we were going to see a deeper retracement at least to this 38.2 level before seeing price continue up and finishing out the sequence. I said I wouldn't buy, although we did have price rally up. We stayed within the stop loss zone and saw price break down. Now, where I took profit was at the D extension of the move down, which was 144.61. I believe I closed out at 144.65. And then we immediately saw rejection off of this level and a strong bullish candle up to the upside. So I think that we could still see move to the downside. I think what we may get, and I'm gonna delete this yellow line. I think what we may get is a test of this trend line in this area and then another opportunity for sale. And I'll show you why based on my technicals. Now I know some of you guys are like, the news said. Yeah, I know definitely news is a catalyst for how price moves. It is not something that I heavily use in my analysis, although I do understand the nuances of how price is influenced. Each currency is influenced by the type of news that comes out. So I want to bring this down. So I still think, if you see here, I would love to see price come back to this 38.2 level, this green line here, before making a move up. And I believe we may still get that or have the opportunity. I could even see price coming back and retracing even deeper to this 618 area, which also used to be a past level of resistance. But before that happens, I'm going to go down to the hour. And I ain't even tell y'all, we're going to look at GBP USD today. That's ultimately what I'm going to look at. And it doesn't matter if you're a new trader. It doesn't matter if you've been trading for a little bit or you've been trading for a while. If you haven't found a system that is working for you, then this video is for you. I know it might seem a little intimidating how I mark up charts, but stick with me. I promise you it's going to get easier and it's going to make a ton of sense for you. Okay. So I'm going to delete this fib. And out of this, I ain't even say, I think I got my highest position out of this one, got 260 pips, but I took it up around here. I had 4 total positions. I scaled in as price was breaking down and pulling back and retracing. And so I did very well off of USD JPY. So I'm going to get rid of this fib. If Smart Trader wants to be nice to me today, I got to remove it this way. So that's fine. So I want to look at this from the upside. So I'm going to click below the last low. And this is what I could see happening. You see that the extension for this very shallow retracement that we have here is right up here at the backside of the trend line. So I could easily see, I could see price moving to the upside, testing this zone, and maybe not even that high, but testing this zone, and then making its way back to the downside, at least to that 144.21, possibly even lower. But I think that this is a play. Or the other thing is that we could see price simply just start to move above these 4-hour levels that you have here and finish out the sequence. That is the other alternative. But I got to tell you that my bias is to the downside. We had a trend line break on the 4-hour to the downside. And so what I think we're getting is price coming back up, testing this zone, this backside retest before seeing a continuation to the downside. Now I said I could see price make an even deeper retracement down to at least this 618 area, which is 143.17 or so. But that's my initial thought. Okay. So let me know what you guys think. Let me also just take a look. Did anybody get into the sale on this? And then, hold on. How do I have this? I'm just trying to see. I'm looking at, and I don't think we have a full, I can get an automated an automated fib yet. No, if I could talk, Lord. I don't think I can get an automated fib yet, but I'm just looking to see is if this did play out this way, where would I end up around and about? And this is A, B. This would be a 786 pullback, which would put us right around the 618 at the top of that 4-hour zone. So I could very well see this happening. But again, the alternative is that we see price bounce up off of this daily level, complete the sequence, and then start it all over again. So that's USD JPY. 261 pips was the best position that I had on this trade. And then let's go ahead. Let's take a look at Euro Odd. And I ain't even introduced myself to y'all. For those who are new, my name is KC Jackson. I am a registered commodity trading advisor with the National Futures Association. And I like to mark up charts. I am very, very much an analytical person, numbers driven. And so what I do here on YouTube is just try to show you guys my perspective and my view on the market. So you should consider subscribing. I try to put out videos pretty steadily. And right now I just want to go over Euro Odd, which was a pair that I did an analysis on last week. And it was a matter of finding where do we get in on this trade. The setup was on the 4-hour, and I think some of this has started to happen. It did, right? And so I thought that a good place to get in would be right around this circle here, this yellow circle, before we saw a move down. So the larger play was 500 or so pips. And so it was finding an entry to ride this out. And so we see that this week it did play out from the point of entry to where we are right now. I believe that's something like, 200 pips. 200 pips to the downside. I believe that we're still going to continue to see price move to the downside on this one. So this one played out well too. Now let's get into what y'all came here for, which was GBP USD, right? And so I want to take a look. I got a bunch of screens up. I want to take a look. We're going to start from the very beginning of marking up GBP USD. And I'm going to do a multiple time frame analysis. Multiple time frame analysis gives us insight into the bigger picture of where price is moving. Okay. So I am going to find my key levels of where price has the potential to change and reverse, change directions. And if you don't know how to identify those levels, I definitely recommend that you go sign up for my no-cost mini course. You can do so by clicking the link in the video description, where I break down in specifics how to find that. I am 7 minutes into this video, and I don't want to take the time to do that right now. So I definitely encourage you to do that. And I see a level here. And I am using Smart Trader. It just makes the process a little bit faster. I do mark up several pairs to look for the best opportunities each week. And so, yeah, let me see. I'm sorry, I'm trying to walk and talk. So I'm going to go over here to my Smart Toolbox just to check the areas that I've identified, make sure they are actually that I missed one here. And you see how those black lines popped up on the screen from R1 to, it should be R10. Now, depending on the package you get, you may not have 10 levels. You may only have 5, which is more than enough for you to do what you need to do. Like I said, I just mark up a lot of charts, and I try to be, I said I'm analytical. So 10 is more than enough information for me to come up with a good analysis. But 5 will do it too. So I found what I need to find on the monthly. I'm going to go to the weekly, and I'm going to do the same thing, right? So I'm going to click above the last high, and I'm going to turn this blue, and I'm going to identify my other areas of resistance. And so that is what I'm doing right now. I'm going to find my areas of support because I believe, oh no, I'm not done with resistance. I got to get them all. Well, most of them. We'll stop here because this is a lot. Okay. So I'm going to grab this and support. And I think I'm good for right now. So I'm going to go down to the daily. Well, let me break down first weekly. So I use the higher time frames to show me the overall direction of the market. And you'll see that on both the monthly and the weekly, that price since last year around this time has been moving to the upside. And so I am looking to see, we definitely have price moving to the downside, but how far? So if you stick with me through the rest of, I'm going to go down to the daily and the 4 hour, and then I'm going to go back and we're going to look and see if there's a setup, and then how do we get into the proposed setup. So on the daily, I found a zone. We also have a zone here. When the market opens, that'll be a zone. Here we go. Now I know some of y'all are probably gonna be like, how do you know? I can't see the candles. I can see it. I can see. And once you go to that mini course, it'll break down, you'll be able to pick it up quick. And once you start marking up so many charts, it kind of just becomes second nature to you. So I got that. Let me change this. So I've got all of my resistance areas. And now we're looking for support. All right, I think I got my zones that I'm interested in right now. All of this down here, we are on the daily. This is a bit far away. I will go ahead and get the main one right here. Oh, I just do the right thing. Stop being lazy. I'm being lazy, y'all. Go ahead, get them all. All right, I'm good. Now I'm gonna double check, make sure that the system is picking up what I identified, and it is to the T. So I'm gonna turn this off, and then we'll check the resistance levels too. So we got 1, 2, 3. So we're good. All right. So now I'm gonna go down to the 4 hour. I'm gonna do the same thing. Now I'm a swing trader, so it's very rare that I go lower than the 4, but there are instances that I do go lower. All right. So I think I'm good. So now that I've done that, I want to see where we are in the fib sequence. So I'll go back to the monthly, and I'm going to click below the last low. We had an A low, B high, less than 38.2 pullback. Price stalled 118.127. I would love to see price on the monthly come back at least to this 116.487. That's on the monthly though. So let's keep drilling down and let's see. I'm gonna go to the weekly and I'm gonna deploy the fib, see what I get. Direction is still to the upside, right? The main move has been to the upside, but you see when we got right around July of this year, we started to see price start to make its way down. And I want to throw, okay, I got too many things going on in my head right now. Too many things going on in my head. So this is the fib that's currently active. A low, B high, 38.2 pullback. So essentially and theoretically, the D extension should be here. But what I want to look at is I want to throw a trend line to see if we got a break. So I'm going to click from my last low to here. Now I want to double check, make sure that I drew this correctly. So I'm going to click below the last low and see that big black line that popped up, smart TL, the smart trend line. We're on point. So on the weekly, we got a break of the trend line to the downside, but we are sitting at daily support. Okay. So I'm going to keep moving to the downside. I'm going to go down to the daily. I'm going to throw my fib. And actually, I think I'm good to the upside. What I want to see right now, hold on, let me go through the steps. I'm going to click below the last low. Okay. So it did come back. It touched 38.2. Let me click just to make sure The low was 017. This was oh no, it did not. It did not. Let me make sure I'm seeing this right. So I thought, this is what going on in my head. I thought that we hit the 38.2. And that we would see price finish out in between those two weekly levels. Like ultimately, this is the target, right? Off the daily. But I'm looking at the last low. I click on the candle. See how it says high and low? The low was 1.18017. The 38.2 level is 1.18011. It did not hit the 38.2. It was off by like, I don't even know how to say that in decimals, but it was off by just a smidget. So we could see price come back to this 38.2 level before making the move to the upside. So that's 118053. That is also a monthly level of support before we see this finish out. Okay. So, okay, we got the move to the downside. We got the trend line break. I'm good on the daily time frame because that's where I see the potential setup. And when I say that, I see the potential of this happening with good potential that it could even come deeper this time to hit that 38.2 and then on the higher time frame and then move to the upside, right? So I'm going to delete this. Now I want to see what's going on to the downside. So let's see. So we had an A high, B low, 50% pullback. We hit the D extension sometime last week before last. And now is price going to complete, because it completed the sequence over here. We pulled back 38.2, not even a 50. And so does price have enough momentum to break through this weekly support level to hit the D extension at 1.2270? I'm going to let you know. I think that, so I see a potential pattern here. I'll draw it out. So I'm going to go over to my smart patterns. And I think what I see, I could be wrong, but I think what I see is a potential of a crown. And a crown is just like a reversal pattern. And so I'm going to draw out what I see for y'all. So what do we say? 118. But if we went to the 118 monthly support, price would have to push higher for that to happen. If it happened like that. That's a shallow crown. But I can see that. Right? That 38.2, I could see that. Or I could see if, hold on. Let me make sure I have this all right. Yeah, I'm quiet. I'm concentrating, right? I could see price pulling back to this 128 area before making a move down and completing the sequence. So let me get my fib to the downside. Hold on. I'm going to click above the last high. And let me move this because I just drew this based off of that. But this would be the actual play. So, I mean, this is what I see. It doesn't have to be right. This is what I see. And a lot of people would call this like a head and shoulders, but it's not, because the right side, the what they would call the neckline, is not on par with the neckline over here, right? So this is lower. Now, let me put that trend line back on so I could also show you what I see. So I'm going to go from the last low so I could see price coming back up, testing this zone before. And let me make sure I drew this right. Smart trend line. There we go. So that's right. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Or I could even see this price coming back up, back testing at 1.3, and then making a move to the D extension and completing out. So when the crown is green like this means that it's a valid idea, right? It meets the measurements of the pattern. When it starts to turn like that bright green, that means it's not a valid pattern at all. So this even gives you 100%. So that's what I see. And for this reason, I'm going to be, and I would just love to see a deeper retracement, at least to the 618 on the daily. I'm more inclined to be looking for buys on this right now. And I know some of y'all are probably looking for sales, and that's fine. I love to know your thought process behind it for sure. But I'm going to set this up looking for buys. So I'm going to go down to the 4. I am going to grab my trend line, and I'm setting this up for buys. So I'm going to take from my high to my high. We're going to go from here to here, and actually from here to here. Let me make sure I drew that right. Oh, it comes in. Okay. So it comes in just a tad bit. So we'll adjust this. And what I wait to see, I'm not going to wait for the break on the 4. I'm actually going to go down and be a little more aggressive. Okay. So I'm going to draw this trend line here. So we could see price come back to this level before starting to break up, or we could see price form support where it is now and take up, or the other thing, and I'll go back to the 4 for this, the other thing that we could see, price is in the middle of a sequence to the downside. Although it didn't give us a deep retracement to at least that 50, it did hit the 38.2. So we could see price play out and make its way down to this daily support level off of where it is right now. So it really depends on if we get price to find support at this area and then begin to make its way to the upside. Now, I like this also because price was support back here, back in July. It found support, then it broke through. It did come back and retest this zone, but it did it before the low boundary. So I would like to see it come back and test again after that low boundary back to this zone before making a continuation to the downside. So that's my thought. That is my shorter term thought. The way that I would set this up though, I'm going to get rid of, no, I'm not. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to go down to the hour to draw this. It's a long video. I'm sorry, y'all. The way that I would draw this is I'm going to set my stop below, just below daily support. And then I am going to draw this, my take profit, or my, the setup. Now OCD Casey is trying to get these lines right, and I'm gonna turn this green, but this is what I see potentially. Now if I were to get my fib out and draw from the last low to the high, this is kind of making a little sense to me. Let me get the last low. So what I'm looking at is, This was a low. This was a B high. Price pulled back. Right now we're sitting in the 786.86 area. The take profit would be right around 279.995. Now we know that price has the tendency to push to these significant levels, daily levels. So I could definitely see this happening. But I wouldn't execute until I got my confirmation on a lower time frame that we got a swing low and a break of that inner trend line first. So that's what I see. I see a potential for move to the upside of at least 234 pips with a potential 45, let's call it 45 pip stop loss. That's a little over 5 to 1, I believe. Or is that 6? That's 6. Sorry. That's 6. So that's what I see. I see a stop loss of about 43, call it 50 pips, in order to pick up roughly 240 to the upside. Just keep in mind that we are in the middle of a fib sequence, and if price does not find support at this daily level, we could see price continue down to that next daily level, which is also the extension at 23713. So I'm curious about your thoughts. Let me know what you think. You can put it in the comments below. If this video was helpful to you, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. I try to put out videos weekly on my thoughts and outlook on the market. And if you know somebody that's interested in learning how to trade and you think this might resonate with them, make sure that you share the video. And then if you're like, Casey, I like the way you look at the charts, I like the way you mark them up, go ahead, sign up for the no-cost mini course in the video description, and I'll give you some more keys on how I do this. Okay. All right. I appreciate you guys for watching. Those in the US, I hope you have a great holiday weekend. Eat enough barbecue for me. I'll be in the house cleaning, but I will see you guys soon, and I hope you have a phenomenal trading week. Bye.